To say Jupiter is the biggest planet in the solar system doesn't do it justice. Jupiter is a world so roomy that it could swallow every planet and moon in the solar system and still have room for more.
If you move the Earth, you could put it inside the Great Red Spot. You can fit 1,000 Earths inside Jupiter. It's huge.
All right, everybody, it's Carpaccio with the weekly Pele report, and it's raining outside. Oh my God. The sun is supposed to come out, so I don't know. I might get out there after this, but I wanted to show you this anyway because this is an actual demonstration of what I really want to talk to you about today in today's report. And if you looked at the chart at the beginning, this is kind of what you would see because the chart is geocentric. That means that the Earth is the center. And if you go off to the right, okay, you are going to see a Sun-Mercury conjunction. The moon is right there. And then you're going to see Venus over there, okay? And you're going to see Mars down. This is down by Gemini, right? This is Pluto. If you go, that's up by Capricorn. Saturn over there in Aquarius. Let's scoot it in a little bit. You get this kind of a sense here. Okay, we can scoot it in even smaller. Okay, and you'll see that, all right, Jupiter, is out over here. And last but not least, there's Neptune. So from Earth, Uranus is going to be down here in Taurus, right? And Neptune is over there in Pisces, with Jupiter and Neptune pretty darn close because Jupiter is going retrograde, okay, into Pisces, almost to be conjunct with Neptune. Now, how do they get this whole retrograde thing? Because Mercury is retrograde too, and the way that the retrograde works is just that, okay, if you draw a straight line between here and Saturn, okay, all these planets are retrograde because the Earth is passing them by. So as that Earth moves, okay, it's going to appear as if the background, is going backwards. Optical illusion. And I don't know, I might be able to show it to you with Mercury. Okay, draw a line. Draw this line through Mercury. Okay, right out to there. There's a straight line, right? And then if we move the Earth, you can see, you draw a straight line. Boom, right? Here is a Mercury-Venus conjunction, but it's back over here. Whereas, the basic constellation, when it's going direct, let's get around to here. Okay, now you'll see as the Earth moves a little farther, now we've got the straight line, okay, there. And now you've got the straight line going over there. So you can see that Mercury, now it's moving really far, right? Now you can see that Mercury is going direct. So that's how the retrograde works. But here's what I really wanted to show you today, because this is like super cool. Okay. So this is like today. All right. And let's go a little bigger. How can I go bigger? Because I want to show you the moon. Right? Watch the moon. Now we have what? Bing. New moon. The new moon is when the moon and sun are in this direct alignment, okay? This is a new moon. And you can see that Mercury is there and Venus is there. So we have this great Moon, Mercury, Sun, Venus conjunction going on. I mean, it's like, whoa, Nelly, this is a lot of energy happening, okay? But now here's the other thing, right? Let's look at it from down here. This is super cool. I love this freaking program, right? Now what we want to do is we want to see that in this alignment, right? We want to go out a little bit. And what are we going to find? Jupiter. Look at, let's come out to Jupiter, man, right? And even beyond Jupiter, let's go all the way out past Saturn, past Uranus, out to Neptune. Do you see what I see? Do you see that here is Neptune and here is Jupiter, and they are really, this is an opposition. You see, this Venus, Sun, Mercury, new moon conjunction is opposite Jupiter and in very many ways opposite Neptune. I mean, we have an exact Venus opposite Neptune on Saturday. Okay. We have the sun in opposition exactly to Jupiter on Monday. So we have these oppositions going on. And that's what I really want to talk to you about today. You can see here, right? It's like we are stretched. An opposition is when the earth, and we on the earth, we as terrestrial beings, okay, we are in the middle. We're stuck in between. Stuck in the middle with you is one of the songs I was thinking about for this for the song for this week's Pele report, because the earth, and us on the earth are caught between, okay, yeah, right, this Neptune, Jupiter, and sun, moon, earth, da, 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 okay, and of course now I want to move on and we can see, okay, yeah, here the earth, you can see the moon moves out of there. The moon moves into Virgo on Friday. By Sunday, it's in Libra. Tuesday, it's in Scorpio. So the moon, keeps moving on. Okay. The other aspects that are happening, I mean, as long as I've got your attention here, let's look at how can we tilt this so that you see Pluto. Because here we can see now that Mercury is in trine to Pluto. So we have this, it's hard to get it on here so that you can see what a trine looks like, darn it. And Mars is trine Saturn. How can I show you the trine between Mars and Saturn? I mean, well, if you drew a line through Mars, Earth out to Mars, way out to the constellation, it would be, and then you drew another line from the Earth, Saturn, out to the constellations. That would be this equilateral triangle of 120 degrees. Yeah, but that's not working so good for me today. But you can see for sure that there's a Mercury-Venus conjunction on Monday. So let's look at this Mercury-Venus conjunction. What does a Mercury-Venus conjunction look like? And how should we look at this? Oh, that's how about that? We got to back it up a little bit. Hey. Where's that Mercury-Venus conjunction? Don't you wish you could just, okay, here's, boom, this is what a Mercury-Venus conjunction is like. Mercury and Venus are directly in alignment, and by then the sun has moved on a little bit. Not much, but yeah, it's actually Monday. Both the sun is exactly opposite Jupiter. There you've got Jupiter. Now we have a Jupiter opposite the sun at the same time, right, that Mercury is conjunct Venus. So I'm just giving you a little bit of a heads up that, that the chart that we are looking at when we look at our astrology chart, and when I draw these charts for you, is not a very good representation of the reality of our uh, cosmic existence here. But that's and then of course, yes, the sign that all of this is happening at the spring equinox, fall equinox. It depends on which side of the equator you're on, but this is a big time, and that has to do, and I don't think this program really shows it, but that has to do with the tilt of the Earth. The Earth has a 23-degree tilt on its axis, but you can't see that in this program. So we have equal day and equal night, okay? But here they just show the Earth turning around. I like the way they show the Earth turning around. And you can see a little bit of the tilt. It is tilted. It's not turning, but I don't know how I'm going to show you equal day and equal night, because it doesn't really have the equator drawn on here. Look at this. Let's just play around. That's a month. There's a new moon, right? And then it comes around. Boom, there's a full moon. Comes around to the new moon. All right, stop goofing around. I will look at the camera and talk to you more about this now.
All right, everybody. Well, the rain stopped. I had to get out of the house, and I didn't feel like getting in the car, so I just walked over here to this place. But there is the river. If you can see that, that's a beach. That's a beach down on the river. So I am on the river. I'm just a little bit at the top of the canyon getting the bird's eye view. Yeah, there's a couple of turkey vultures flying right over my head here. I got a little lost, and I may still get a little lost. But this has a lot to do, I think, with what I want to talk about today. Jupiter coming back into Pisces to join with Neptune, and in opposition with Venus. Neptune being the higher octave of Venus. Spiritual, divine, unlimited love, including forgiveness and compassion for all living things, because we are all one. Neptune. Very strong now in Pisces. In opposition now to Venus, personal love, relationships, individual love. I want to talk about relationships today. Libra is the sign of relationship. Scorpio, where the south node of the moon is more to do with the deepening of relationship and partnership. And this is, how do I put it, it's the oppositional point of Aries. The spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, which in astrology is the beginning of the cycle, and the natural horoscope that I use and that I use at the beginning. You can see Jupiter is, retrograding back over 0 degrees Aries, and Aries is the self, right? Ruled by Mars, the masculine warrior aspect of each and every single one of us, okay, that is about I, me, my. My wants, my desires, my way. Headstrong, the ram. Ram your head right on through to the other side. Yeah? Get out of my way. Jupiter is, Chiron is in there, so we're in the process of healing this energy, of giving ourselves empowerment, empowering ourselves, expanding ourselves, discovering and learning more about ourselves, our desires, our powerful chi, red energy that wants to just like charge, right? And then we've got over here Libra, ruled by Venus. It's an air sign, okay? And it's 180 degrees. It's like the full moon from this start of the impulse in Aries. Now we have come all the way around. And again, we have to look back 6 months. It was 6 months ago that the sun was conjunct Neptune and conjunct Jupiter over there in Pisces. Again, it brings us back to, I think last week, I mentioned the beginning of March. March 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The first couple weeks of March, we not only had Venus conjunct Mars, starting a new relationship cycle, we had the sun coming through and conjoining with Neptune and Jupiter, which is like freedom, unbounded, universal, sacred spiritual, infinite love. Wow. Now 6 months later, it's very interesting because it's funny, I just did a Sunday Zoom call with my school. I do Sunday Zoom calls with the school, and this one was about aspects, and it was looking at the aspect wheel and the phasal relationship between planets. And the first half of any cycle, just let's look at Mother Nature. The first half of the plant, the Aries point is the seed. And then that seed breaks through at the 90-degree first quarter square. And then it comes through and it bears fruit. It blossoms into the flowers, and those flowers, produce seeds. And at this 180 degree, this opposition, that is the peak that's the fulfillment. The flowers have bloomed. The fruit is ripe. It's time for harvest. It's the apples fall from the trees, and the seeds, the next generation of seeds, returns. So what happens? So this is a turning point in this whole cycle that I want to talk about. The sun going into Libra now. This is a whole turning point from the rise of the sap and the life energy, okay, that is this animal, instinctive, unconscious, and then becoming more conscious and creative and self-important and, self-expressed in Leo, and then, moving through Virgo into this adjustment. And at this Libra point, okay, at this equinox, where day equals night, the night in the northern hemisphere starts growing stronger. And what happens after the fruit? What happens after the veggies? What happens after the flowers? The life force and the plant begins to wane. Yes, the moon begins to wane after the full moon. It's building life energy, life force. The whole second half of the cycle, the whole waning, the signs of Libra, Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces have to do with consciousness. Consciousness. It's the life force wanes and consciousness emerges. Conscious awareness, the expansion of consciousness through other people and through society and through looking, moving all the way into Aquarius, the future, and ending in Pisces, the cosmos. But right now, so this is this beginning part, and it's objectivity. Libra is an air sign. And Saturn moving through Aquarius is this objectivity in trine to Mars and Gemini. Okay, with these Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra are these three air signs that have to do with objective observation, communication, listening and sharing from a very up here. I'm on the top of the frickin' mountain, baby. from the eagle eye perspective, looking down at the whole big, wide, broad picture. So let's look at this whole big, wide, broad picture. And I'm going to actually write about this more. I have the new moon lunar planner. And that new moon, we know, okay, did I say before? But, you know, the new moon is happening on Sunday at 2 degrees, 49 minutes of Libra. And here I have to give a shout out to Susanna. Oh my God, I come home, come back here from Europe, and I have a gift from Susanna of... Oh, you can't see that. It is the original Sabian symbols. Not only that, the original Sabian symbols were drawn by Mark Edmund Jones, right, who sat down with the psychic Elsie Wheeler. And what do I have here? Mark Edmund Jones, donated by Mark Edmund Jones. This was Mark Edmund Jones' original freaking copy. If you know astrology, you know Mark Edmund Jones. In the back, what do I have here? This is actually his handwritten signature. Mark Edmund Jones, man. So now I can compare, right? I've got Dane Rudyard and Mark Edmund Jones, baby. I'm going to pick out whichever one I feel is more to my liking. Well, they are both the same symbol. And this has got to be one of my favorite Sabian symbols. Yeah. The dawn of a new day reveals everything changed. It's actually different. Mark Edmund Jones says, the dawn of a new day, everything changed. Dane Rudyard stuck in reveals. Yeah. Puts a little different twist on it. One way or the other, we get this idea of the dawning of a new day with everything being changed. We are in a time now, whether you call it the Great Reset, the dawn of the age of Aquarius, the end of Kali Yuga, the end of patriarchy, we are in a big change. Super freaking powerful. So I want to read to you first of all, I like Dane Rudyard's keynote. And he says, the ever-present possibility of beginning again on a new foundation of values. Remember, Venus has to do with values. Taurus, Venus rules Taurus, has to do with our values. And we know that the north node of the moon is conjunct Uranus. Uranus is new, the future, individualized, unique, restructuring. It's like a new set of values. And these values are very fundamental to creating our reality. And here I want to now share with you Mark Edmund Jones' interpretation. This is a symbol of the illimitable potentialities to be found when it comes to any personal participation in everyday affairs, and of the thoroughness with which each individual remains the recurrent expression of his own self-consistencies. That's a lot. But I'm getting to the good part. There is here the necessity for an ultimate self-dependence and the consequent need to blaze a path of special recognition for each particular characteristic of selfhood. This is Jupiter in Aries, isn't it? This is self-dependence. Expand this sense of who I am and self-discovery, right? The key word is innovation. When positive, the degree is our insatiable appetite for experiment and continuing self-discovery in every possible area of human experience. And when negative, inability to catch the challenge of living in even the most trivial matters. How about that? How about that? So this is what I want to get into. And I'm doing a whole course now on the astrology of relationships. I did it over in Greece. I'm doing another one down in Costa Rica in December. If you're ready to see Costa Rica, get some astrology, do some yoga, expand, come on down. I'll put the link for it in the notes below in the YouTube. I also have done just a little the astrology of sexuality as a one-day event here in California and then over in Ibiza. I could maybe even do that one online. Jeffrey Wolf Green, Evolutionary Astrology, talks about the astrology of sexuality probably on a deeper level than any other astrology that I have read or astrologer that I have listened to. And it really goes into the fundamental nature, of our sexuality, going far, far back, and the reptilian primal brain, and how this, comes up, and then the cerebral cortex, evolved, and we moved into patriarchy, and along came out of the matriarchy came this patriarchy. And I've talked about the patriarchy forever. I mean, I don't need to go into that too much, but what I want to point out is that this not only is the end of this patriarchal time, which is male-dominated, top-down, conquering, and that we can see socially and politically, and the ownership of land. The native people would never think of owning chunks of Gaia. I've said that before, right? And this whole political, government and corporate, entities and presidents and all this kind of thing. This is all hierarchical, right? This is all male hierarchical because it started in the sub-age of Capricorn, within the Cancer age. I'm not going to go into exactly. So the whole patriarchy is connected to this Cancer-Capricorn axis. Capricorn in particular, Pluto now moving through Capricorn, signaling, again, an evolution. But I'm getting off topic because what I really wanted to point to is what? The Adam and Eve myth, and the morals, and the values, and the ethics, and the religion, and the guilt, and the shame that has all been used, So it's not just political and money and materialism and conquering and owning. I want to look today here particularly at this aspect of relationship and partnership in terms of monogamy and in terms of the way that we have really structured society, socio-cultural, religious conditioning that has permeated through this collective unconscious of Pisces and Neptune and is not clearly defined or laid out so much, in society, so much as in and through religion. And this is not only the end of patriarchy, but this can also have to do with the end of religion. And for me, that's a great thing because we want spirituality. The end of religion, dogma and doctrine and putting God outside of ourselves can give birth to a spirituality of oneness where we have spirit source within us and there is not this separation. So this is also part of this end of the patriarchy. And we look at the Great Reset. You shall own nothing and be happy. I mean, I'm totally down, okay, on the whole WEF and Schwab and everything. But this age of Aquarius, we have to understand there's a lot coming around here of, just like really changing social norms, really changing the way we do society, really changing the way that we do community, and really changing the way that we do family, and really changing the way that we do relationships. And here we have to look at, and when I teach the astrology of sexuality, there are signs that are naturally monogamous. Yeah, Taurus is naturally monogamous, okay? Cancer, Capricorn, we have these monogamous signs, and then we also have signs that are not naturally monogamous. Aries, where Jupiter is right now. Gemini, where Mars is right now. Libra, where the Sun and Venus and Mercury, okay, are all coming together, okay, now. These are not naturally monogamous signs. And this is and what we understand here also is, the breakdown of the institution of marriage, the number of divorces, the number of single people, how monogamy is not necessarily meeting the needs of very many people. And yet, the psychology of today, the therapies of today, the counseling of today is all built around, okay, let's try to work it out. And if this monogamy is not working, it's because there's something wrong, or somebody's doing something wrong, or somebody's bad, or somebody's guilty, because this container of commitment has been, it's amazing how there is this whole dynamic, of society wanting to like really support, okay, this whole way of, like, this is the way, the enlightened or the spiritual or the right way to do relationship and partnership. So we can see that when that model of monogamy is broken, there's betrayal and there's cheating and it's all this kind of because it's why? Because it's shadow, because it's, because it has to go underground, because it's not openly discussed or openly accepted or openly okay to have multiple attractions, to have multiple partners. And we can see the threat, okay, to society, to the church, to so many families, to by the LGBTQ community, yeah? Same-sex relationships, okay, and really diversifying multiple numbers of partners, polyamory, coming forward, all, swingers or whatever, there's many different models or ways of approaching partnership and relationship that are outside this model that we have been given as, for thousands of years, the way to be. We know that Libra is the sign of partnership and relationship because what? In the old days, a woman had a choice to be married or to be a nun or to be a prostitute. There were 3 choices in those old days. And now we can see that astrology is evolving. I don't see Libra so much as, Scorpio having to do, okay, with marriage and having offspring and this committed, it's a fixed sign. Libra is a cardinal. Let's initiate. And what does it initiate with and through? Communication. The importance of communication, the importance of transparency, the importance of honesty to build trusting relationships, whether they are, just, conversational and mental, or you get emotionally involved, or we get physically involved. Libra has to do with this balancing and coming into relationship and partnership in a very super beautiful, equal way. And that may not be happening in very many relationships. And I've just, finished a tour. I've done a whole bunch of workshops. I've talked to a lot of people, and there's a lot of single people. There's a lot of disillusionment around relationship in general. There's a lot of people just like, you know what? I'm going solo. I'm going to go celibate. I'm going to just like shut down or close off. It's just like time for me to take care of myself. This is very Jupiter in Aries. This is very North Node in Taurus. And we can support that. But all I'm saying is we can support a wide range, a wide variety, not the narrow definitions of, a relationship should be this. A relationship should be that. And if you don't do this or that well, then you're blowing it and you're bad at relationship. Maybe not. Maybe you're an innovator of new forms of relationship. Maybe it's time to experiment, like the Sabian symbol says, and step out of the old boxes that we've been given around the way it should be. And that brings me to what? The frickin' mantra. The mantra for this week, right? If I'm to explore the depths of my soul, I need to break some rules. As beyond the narrow definitions, I'm told, there's a way I can be with you. We could add, and you, and you, and you. It's just like, for some people, this is great. For other people, this is torture. Yeah, for other people, this is restricting and confining. So the age of Aquarius has to do with unity in diversity. So what I'm thinking here is that the patriarchy has been about, and the purpose behind it and the evolutionary intention of it was to individuate, to individualize, to come out of this feeling and unity and oneness that was more, unconscious and undifferentiated. So before we can really end the patriarchy, before we can really move on, to a whole new paradigm, maybe we also need to break through. We need to liberate ourselves. We need to really individualize not only ourselves, but we need to create social structures. We need to create new belief systems. We need to create new psychology and counseling and therapies that have to do with an opening up of the way not only we relate to ourselves, but the way we relate to other people. Same sex, other sex, different sex, whatever is going on. The way that we do relationships, I think, is dragging behind the awakened, liberated knowledge and knowing that we have of what we need. We're all discovering Jupiter in Aries, Chiron in Aries. We're discovering, wow, I've got a new need. I've got a new desire. I've got a new, and my current situation is not meeting it. It's not able to meet it. I can only drink, so much from this trough, before it goes dry. And maybe there's another. That brings me to a whole nother point, but maybe I'll go into that in the Lunar Planner or the newsletter or something. You can sign up for the newsletter. But maybe down below, just the whole idea of the unfolding of relationships and the way that can work. But just this idea of expanding beyond our narrow definitions, not only of ourselves, but of partnership and of relationship. And we have this happening, okay? You know, this is the South Node through Scorpio. It's like letting go, okay, of old, habitual, fixed, rigid patterns and taboos, and coming down into, it's actually more simple. It's actually more true. It's more honest. And it's, you know, the only complexity is that there does need to be so much honest, transparent communication. But that is necessary for any relationship to work. So anyway, that's enough for today, man. Just get the energy of this week. It's not only this week, I'm saying it's this month. And this trine of Mars to Saturn and everything marching through Libra, making a grand trine in air is going to be like, whoa, super freaking awesome, super cool. And yeah, when it goes into Scorpio, end of October, November, there will be a shift when the eclipses come. But I would say, you know, even with this Mercury retrograde, Mercury's going to be, you know, retrograding back into Virgo and then turning direct to come into Libra again. This is, you know, it's retrograding back. It says, I got to do a little more cleanup. I got to do a little more self-analysis. I've got to do a little more, you know, perfecting myself and analyzing myself. And then it's going to come back into Libra direct. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. So, I mean, there were so many cool songs that came up for me, you know, regarding this. But Get Together, I think Get Together is the one that I'm really going to call out, you know, as number one. And the link for that will be down below. Yeah? So one more time for the mantra today, this week. Wishing you the very best in your experimental, communicative expansion of self through relationship. Ow! Yeah. If I'm to explore the depths of my soul, I need to break some rules. As beyond the narrow definitions I'm told, there's a way I can be with you. There's a way I could be more open with you. Or there's a way I could go deeper with you. Or there's a way that I could create more with you. I don't know. It's, yeah, it's a start. Do what you want with the mantra, man. Namaste. Aloha. So much love.